and at Intel. What actually motivated your choice, first of all, to join Lucid Motors and move to the mobility industry? It's new for you.
So is this on?
Try it.
I don't know if this is on.
Try this one. Here we go.
Good morning. Hello? Can anybody hear me?
We've got a couple of sound issues here.
Hello.
Yeah, so, okay, can you borrow Gürcan's microphone, and we'll try and fix the other two. We have a little sound problem.
Okay, you can hear me now.
Yes.
Hi. So when you asked me about mobility and joining mobility, it's interesting to me because back in the 90s, I used to see mobility as laptops.
Yes, of
That's
course.
what mobility was about. And then in the noughties, it was about the phones, it was about the iPads, and now it is about everything, right? Everything is mobile. How did I join the automotive industry? So I actually retired. I had worked hard. My dream was to retire when I was still pretty young. Then I retired, but I didn't know what I wanted to do with myself once I had been retired. And I got incredibly bored. And I started to see that where we are in technology today, from the mainframe to the MIDI frame to the mini frame to laptops to computers to everything digitized, everything everywhere, where we are in big data, where we are with processor evolution. And I felt that this is the time, and I just wanted to jump back into the pool and play. And I think that in the automotive space, that is really the exciting space because it's a very traditional, non-digitized space. And I love to be part of it. And I'm also not getting younger. So I want to be able to drive and be independent for the whole of the rest of my life, or at least get to where I wanted to go and not have my children take the keys off me.
Okay. Just tell us a little quick word about Lucid Motors as well, because you chose to join Lucid.
Oh, I chose Lucid very, very deliberately. So just about a year ago, or actually not even a year ago, in October, we released our first product. It was the fastest, most efficient car in the world. We have the highest range, 520 range. That has been even proven in real world. Our background is a lot of very heavy automotive background, along with a lot of people that came from Apple. So my background in Apple, I was working with some former colleagues who I actually worked with as far back as the original iMac. So I love playing with the same team again, and I love the differences between the mindsets of automotive and technology, and I just love the opportunity in the future and the potential. And we're not just a car company.
She's very enthusiastic. I'm loving Margaret. The energy there is really high this morning. And Gürcan has the same energy because we just spoke to each other a couple of minutes ago. You're CEO of TOG, which is the first national Turkish automotive company and mobility technology provider, founded as a joint venture in 2018, right? And TOG produces 100% electric cars. Is that correct? Tell us a little bit more about what you do.
Yeah, sure. We started at 2018 with the industrial doyens of Turkey, and we have started not only to have an electric car, we have started to build an ecosystem around it. We are building, we call it more than a car. So more than a car is an intelligent car, it's a smart car, and the smart car can only be smart enough if the surroundings, if the mobility ecosystem around is also being established right from the beginning, and this is what we are doing. So on one line we have the smart device, on the other line we have the mobility ecosystem we are preparing at the same time.
Okay, and you came back to Turkey, didn't you, to fill these boots here, to take this role on. What motivated your return?
So I see you are well informed. So I have been 12 years in Germany.
That's right.
And prior to TOG, I was working for a German technology company. And actually similar to Margaret, I was thinking of myself, hey, you need something exciting before you go into retirement. So, and in my previous company, I was back in 2010-11. I was responsible for the automotive strategies, and we have been seeing already that there was a tremendous change. And that was already giving us the early signals the automotive world will be not looking the same in the next 10, 15 years. So we have identified at that time more than 200 new players in this game. Yeah. And so therefore my personal conviction on the disruption in the automotive business is quite high right from the beginning. And then this project in Turkey came, and maybe for the ones not knowing that Turkey has 60 years experience with the usual suspects of the automotive world, so it is already a good basis, a very strong basis for manufacturing and engineering around it. And on the other side, I think it's also from the personal side was the time to have this once-in-a-lifetime challenge.
Yeah.
I'm an engineer, so to shape something from the beginning, it's very special. I'm really proud of that. And so it was also the time to implement, experience things I have learned all over the world in these almost 30 years in this technology company in different business areas to put it into realization.
So what you have here is two very excited people working on very exciting projects. Let's talk about electric mobility. So in recent years, we've witnessed an emergence of new electric auto manufacturers. There's a lot of people emerging and coming up. I'm thinking of Rivian, Lucid, Tesla to a certain extent, Lion Electric, TOG, of course. How do you explain the sudden rise in, all of these businesses coming forward and presenting us with their new vehicles?
Well, I guess back to what I had started with where technology is right now. With all of these vehicles can create massive amounts of data. The amount of the car that we totally control. So for Lucid, I believe that we have the most controllable parts. So there's like 90 computers within our car. 75% of them we can OTA update, so we own the software experience and all of those. I think that where the data revolution has created the space for all of these cars to come in and play. Some of the older companies are going to be challenged because they want to move older setups and organizations into the modern world. A company like both of our companies being new companies have actually an advantage because we're starting with electrification and digitization as a starting point, and we're building our companies to be agile and adapt and be part of where the future is. I mean, the future is here, but we get to roll out with where technology has advanced to at this point in time. The car companies will come first. Full autonomous will come later, but the whole ecosystem needs to be built out to support that. And that's what I think this conference is exciting about, because there are all sorts of little gaps.
Sure.
And those are all opportunities for anyone who's creative and imaginative enough to fill the gap and become the next great thing. I mean, the world is going more sustainable. We have to for the human race to survive, right? We use up all of our renewable sources. Mother Earth doesn't really care.
Yeah.
The human beings are going to care. The population has doubled in size since I've been born. We need to figure out how we get around and how to have it more safe. One of the things that I noticed being in Paris this morning is the smell of gas everywhere.
Oh, yes.
I think that a lot of us during the whole pandemic, when we were at home and we saw nature come back out to play again, and we smelled the air was fresher. We all felt healthier. We were out on our bikes. We were walking a bit more. I foresee a world like that, where Paris doesn't have to smell like this. All of these older European cities, I think, are going to be the ones that get the most advantage out of electrification.
Okay. Gürcan, if you'd like to comment, why are all these new businesses coming up and pushing forward? I guess you agree.
Okay. So maybe as an engineer from the technology background side, there have been some developments the last 7-8 years, which has taken away the anxieties the users had. That was, first of all, the range topic. So the lithium-ion technology has already mastered that. So she's got more than 500, and we are having WLTP-wise also 500 kilometers. She's got miles. So,
miles are longer, she says. Yeah, miles are longer.
The car is also longer. So on the other side, the affordability, so the cost of the battery is coming down, and on the other side also the charging speed. So if you put all those together, there's a real alternative to internal combustion engines, being green, being sustainable, and on the other side also the need to design it on a white paper. makes it much more easier to be digitized.
Yeah.
Yeah, the entire ED architecture is a different one. So if you put it right from the beginning, we don't have a backpack, so we do not need to convert anything. So we can do it really right from the beginning. So that makes those devices more intelligent, also more attractive. And then our approach again, our vision to combine it with the surroundings, with the startups, with the ecosystem, adds lots of value. Luis, you will be expecting lots of other things if you are sitting in one of those smart devices and moving from A to B, and it's not moving from A to B anymore. It's an experience, and you would like to do what you have been doing in your offices or in your living rooms, and this is possible with these kind of smart devices.
Of course. I'd like to have your opinion, as it were, on what will make a very successful electric mobility company. I mean, what are the keys to success for you guys? Margaret.
Thank you. So for us, we're about innovation. It's innovation, innovation, innovation. We have deliberately brought in different people from very, very different backgrounds. A lot of our employees come from a Tesla background, a lot of our employees come from an Apple background, and any number of the luxury car companies in between that. What are going to make the car companies of the future more successful? First of all, managing costs and building the companies are pretty hard for all of these newer companies. However, transformation for the older companies are probably going to be equally as expensive. The ones with most control over their own destiny, I believe, are going to be the ones that are more successful. The ones that control more of their own software experience, the ones that control more of their hardware experience, the ones that feel like it's an integrated product that can connect with people. In my experience with Apple, we did build the best products in the world, but it wasn't about the product itself. It's about how the product made the consumer feel. Yeah. I want to build products that people feel safe in. I want to build products that people feel customized to them. They can customize and personalize it, but it also customizes to them as technology moves on. That you don't have to change your car in 2 years' time, that the newer technologies can come upon your car. We can build it for full autonomous, and at some point we do an OTA update, and there you go. You wake up one morning and your world has changed again. The companies that will adapt, I mean, it's Darwinism. The companies that are able to adapt and change as the market changes are the ones that are going to win every time.
Do you agree, Gürcan?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Maybe with slight differences, similar messages. It really starts with the people. It's all about people. So if you do not have the team whose eyes are shining while working, then you cannot do all those innovations and do all the transformation and the change in this sector. So that's one thing. And on this side, we are really lucky. We are living in an environment where the young generation is energetic, and the innovation power of them has already been proven in IoTs companies, in e-commerce companies, in gaming companies. And this is also what we need. The future lies with the young generation, the startups, in the collaboration to build up the ecosystem. That's one thing. On the other side, we still have challenges in this business, also from the technology side. You asked what makes the difference or what makes it successful. For example, if those companies are not dominating the lithium-ion technology, the energy management, they will have a trouble. So, and that was the reason why we have been, right from the beginning, working on a collaboration. We have a 50-50 joint venture, for example, for our batteries, and it goes back to the cell, to the chemistry. So if you are able to understand the cell chemistry, if you can shape the cell chemistry, you have a lot of more degree of freedom. The future will not suffer from, it's my personal opinion, maybe Margaret sees it similar, it's not going to be microprocessor problems. It's going to be the battery cell scarcity. Everybody is moving to electrification, and if you are not producing it, if you are not owning this technology, you are dependent to others. Yes. So, if you are in the key topics, not dependent to others, you are successful. She mentioned already the microprocessor side. This is the battery side. And on the other side, I think there is one more thing which differs the new generation of vehicles from the classical old ones. We call them the classical league, the old league, and the new league, if you are talking about football, in the new league, you need organizations who are agile on one side, on the other side are user-centric. If we are not adding value to our users with the things we are doing, it's waste of time. So focus on user value, because you guys will be asking from us, will be demanding, and everything what has happened on that perspective, what has happened to the cell phones, to smartphones, is right now happening from the cars to the smart devices, and therefore user centricity is the key.
Okay. So we've been talking about the future being electric, of course, and the future is also autonomous. I mean, I think that's a question that I've heard an awful lot recently, is when will we reach full autonomy? It's a complicated answer. Yeah, go for it, Gürcan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me start with this one.
What are the major obstacles maybe as well?
Yeah, okay. So I still believe there are technological issues to be clarified. Yeah. So we are using lots of sensors, we are using lots of cameras, we are using lots of connectivity channels, and those devices need to be connected to the infrastructure, to other vehicles, to the rest of the world. And this is not solved yet.
Okay.
Neither the communication protocol nor the technology standard. On the other side, what we believe is the innovation is progressing in such a speed that the legislation, the regulations are not following. There are lots of gray zones. And if you are talking to our potential users, they are not expecting to be fully autonomous with 120k and above. So what they expect is in the city traffic as an urgency with maybe up to 60, maybe up to 100, but that's it. So we should not dream of having or sitting in something and flying around with 180 and this is fully autonomous. This will not come before 2035, my personal opinion. 2035?
Okay, Margaret.
235.
Yeah, do you agree?
233. So, I think back, how long did it take for humans to transition from the horse to a car? And, this is pretty much a similar transition, except there are more humans and more transitions that need to be made.
So it's potentially much longer, right?
I think that 35 is a very good guess.
It's realistic.
I think that it's quite realistic for most of the Western world, for sure. I do think that electrification and different charging solutions and technologies that need to be invented in that are the secret to when the timing is right. But meanwhile, that gives us time to perfect the technologies and the radars and the sensors and the cameras, because for me, I want people to feel safe in their cars.
Safety is the major issue.
Right. Different users have different needs. Some people have the need for speed. I have the need for absolute safety.
Which is great as well, and very, very, very important. So with the rise of autonomous and electric mobility, we're noticing a shift in the skills, of course, required and needed in this industry. How has it impacted traditional mobility ecosystems such as Detroit or Germany? Yeah, you know about that.
I think that you probably could answer a lot more about how it has impacted, but what I can tell you is how it has impacted me.
Yeah.
Growing up, I never thought I would be somebody who was working in automotive, anybody that I saw car mechanics and salespeople. That's what the automotive industry had meant or intended to me at the time. I think that, it has created more spaces for women to join the industry. I come from very much a science, technology, engineering, math background. I love that the automotive space has the arts and the design also integrated into the product. I think that it opens up the doors for more people to cross all of the different sectors in science. I think that it's just really exciting to see that we're living at a time where sciences are now converging. Viruses and computers are getting more similar to biological viruses, and I think that we'll attract far more different types of people from different educational backgrounds as well as neurodiversity backgrounds into this industry and outwards, because at the end of the day we will all be connected. It is everything connected, everything electrified, and it is beautiful.
Gürcan, you'd like to comment? I was talking about Germany. Yeah, two things.
Two things I see. Also, as an engineer, the first thing is how those companies do produce value, and they are product focused, technology focused. So we even have a saying in Europe: if you have a good technological solution, it finds its way in the market. Times are over.
Yeah.
Times are really over. And the second thing is the way the old league is collaborating. So we don't have an organization chart in our organization. This doesn't necessarily mean we are not organized. So we are organized in cross-functional teams, self-organized, self-prioritizing, and doing the decisions by themselves. Why? Because the old world is dominated by knowledge, and the knowledge is in the top of the pyramid. So, and we don't have a pyramid in our business. So if you turn back and ask your pyramid, the people sitting on the top of it, they haven't been doing this 10 times, 20 times somewhere in the world. So the guys working in the teams, in cross-functional teams, they have the highest knowledge, and they have to make the decisions. And that's why agile collaboration is the second key thing.
Fantastic.
And this is difficult if you have, I don't know, 100,000 of people, 200,000 of people all over the world.
Yes, of course. We're coming to the end of our discussion. We have exactly 20 seconds left, so it's quite short. But just, what are you most excited about?
All of it. The future is ours. Where technology is right now, we're right in the start of the data revolution. This is going to be as big a revolution as the Industrial Revolution.
Gürcan?
The users are the king.
The users are the king. Okay, perfect. We'll finish there. Thank you so much to both of you for being with us here today. It was a wonderful conversation, and lots more exciting conversations to come, of course, with lots of guests here on the set today. It's time for a short break. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes to talk about drones, robots, and Hyperloop. Wow. See you in a minute.